I would like to try to explain how to do this. And you're on the right track. We're predominantly working with the add class method and the toggle class method. However, you need to use those methods correctly, and you need to use the correct selectors. So let's start out with looking at this selector. Pound FAQ space P. All right, one would think that's a descendant selector. However, there is no ID equals FAQ in this page. Okay, the ID is FAQS. So right from the start, nothing's going to work. You really need to pay attention to the HTML and CSS. All right, we have the wrong selector. Now, supposing we added the S's here. Let's see what would happen. All right, this is what happens when the page loads. We see some content is hidden here and some content is hidden here. We also see some content is hidden here, and we see no content is hidden here. All right, so what is going on? Pound FAQSP means a P that is a descendant of ID equals FAQS. All right, so that means we're going to hide this P. We'll hide this P. We'll hide this P. And we'll also hide this P. That's not what we want to do. This is the question, the H2. The answer is a div. This is the question. It's an H2. The answer is a div. This is the question, an H2. The answer is a div. We want to hide the divs. We don't want to hide the P that's inside the div. We want to hide the div. You really need to focus on the HTML structure. All right, so we're going to change this to div. Now we see that when the page loads, the answers are hidden. However, this is hidden also. We don't want to hide this. We only want to hide those answers. All right, so what is the issue here? The issue here is that this selector is a general descendant selector, and it is being applied to every div. The add class is being applied to this div, which is correct, to this div, which is correct, to this div, which is correct, to this div, which is incorrect. All right, so how do we figure that out? We want to exclude this div. This div is inside an aside. All right, now the aside and this div and this H2 and this div and this H2, etc., they're all children. All right, they are all children. So the aside is a child. The div is a child. These are all direct children of ID equals FAQS. This div is technically a grandchild because this is a child. Okay, we want to exclude this. So how do we do that? We do that by using a direct descendant selector. This is CSS now, and this is in the book. All right, let's save this and see how it looks. All right, now we have this div showing. Now let's take a look at our icons. Why are our icons not working? All right, so here we have the add class method. You need to understand the syntax for an add class method. It takes the name of a class. All right, now here we're adding a class to the H2s. Are we adding the name of a class? No, we are not. We are adding the name of an image. That is the incorrect syntax. You need to understand the syntax for the methods. You need to understand how these methods work. It doesn't work according to how you logically think it should work. It works according to how the language is constructed. So we need to add the class called plus, not the icon. If you look in your CSS code, I'm trying to show you the classes you will use. This adds the plus sign. This adds the minus sign. This closes. These are the classes you're using. They're right here for you in the CSS. Now we also need to change this to the direct descendant. And let's take a look at it. There we go. Now it's working. All right, on to the next section. Okay, so here we're clicking on all of the H2s. We don't want to click on all of them. We only want to click on the direct descendant. Okay, this .toggle class, again, the toggle class method takes the name of the class we are toggling. It does not take the name of a graphic. All right, incorrect syntax. Of course it's not going to work. Okay, the class we're toggling is minus. All right, now a little bit of logic here. Toggle class close. Why are we going to toggle the close class? We already added it. Okay, we want to show it. We don't want to close it again. We don't want to click close on and off. We want to do the opposite. So let's take a look at what I gave you in the CSS. Oh, here we go. Opens the div containers. I'm even telling you it's a div container. There's open. That's the class we're going to toggle. So here we go. All right, it's not working. Okay, so what is wrong here? Took me a while to figure this one out. Okay, let's look back at this code here. All right, remember I added the greater than sign to make it a direct descendant. However, take a look at this selector, FAQS. What is FAQS? It's not an element. It's a nothing. Okay, it should be pound FAQS. Most of the problems have to do with the wrong selector. And it's just not the wrong selector. It's a selector that doesn't exist. It's an invalid selector. So the problems were basically due to syntax. You were not using the add class method correctly. You were not giving it a valid argument or a valid parameter. You were not using toggle class correctly. You were not passing a valid parameter. You were passing a file name. It doesn't take a file name. It takes the name of a class. Okay, you were not using a descendant selector. You didn't have the pound sign. You didn't have the S on the ID. You had selectors that didn't exist. Had you looked at what I was giving you and read and studied the code, you might have gotten a clue as to what you were doing and the classes you needed. Had you read the handout a little more closely, you will use the CSS classes that are provided. These are the classes that are involved. I'm trying to show you how to do this. I'm trying to give you hints.